Opening Friday on the inner track here at the Big A. We're in South Ozone Park, Queens, set to go and just getting settled in. In fact, it's going to be a long winter. We hope Mother Nature cooperates today. Pretty pleasant in the weather department. Temps were in the mid-40s. Not much sun here on day number 3 of the inner track. Glad you're with us. It's Jason Blewitt, Maggie Wolfendale alongside. Friday's edition of Aqueduct Insider. Another Big A weekend on the horizon, and the garland of roses for fillies and mares. Tomorrow's featured 8th race.
Which looks to be a really good race here, Jay, considering that the Willow on the Move Stakes down at Laurel is scheduled tomorrow, and a lot of those Mid-Atlantic horses cross-entered. But we got word from Andrew Burns, our stakes coordinator, that most of them will be coming. Winning Image is one of the bigger headlines as well. With
63-year-old rider Tony Black, who won his first ever career race in 1970 at Liberty Bell. Tony will be riding at the Big A tomorrow. We're looking forward to that. Now, Maggie and I, the wind was taken a bit out of our sails, and if you were watching the Aqueduct feed, I'm sure you know what we're talking about, and you feel the same way. There was a bad 3-horse spill in today's 8th race, and as a result, 2 riders were okay, but it sounds like Cornelia Velasquez is on his way to North Shore Hospital.
Yeah, he is. He was complaining of clavicle pain, collarbone pain, and you know, he's not a spring chicken anymore, and sometimes when you go down, it's better safe than sorry. He's been very fortunate. He hasn't had many major injuries, and we're really hoping the best that he stays that way.
Yeah, coming out of a main track fall meet here at Aqueduct where he was the top rider, we hope Cornelio's okay, and our thoughts are with him as we get on with the headlines, in fact, and we turn the page and we can get to something a bit more lively and friendly and feel good, if you will, in the old gray freight train Silver Charm, who's back from Japan and will enjoy his retirement on a Kentucky farm from stud duty.
And really, check out what Blood Wars has to offer with Michael Blowen talking about Silver Charm returning 2 old friends, the 20-year-old Stallion returning from Japan. He had to go on a pretty crazy trip to get back home by way of Anchorage, Alaska, then Arlington Park, but he looked great. 3-year-old champion in 1997, just shy of getting that Triple Crown. He was definitely a fan favorite, that's for sure.
Was a fan favorite. I mean, all heart, steel gray, had speed, could carry it, and was good from his 2-year-old season through the end of his racing days. Would go on to win the Stephen Foster, the Dubai World Cup, and he was really the horse that put the Belmont Stakes in a way. It kind of sounds silly, but it's true. He was the first horse in the 90s that put the Belmont Stakes back on the map. I can remember as a fan being there when Thunder Gulch won it in 1995, the Belmont Stakes, 37,000 in attendance, and it was over 60 or 70,000 when Silver Charm went for his Triple Crown bid in 1997. Just a true champion.
Yeah, it really did, and a lot of near misses that trainer Bob Baffert had, and his owners, actually, Bob and Beverly Lewis, paid for everything to get this horse back. Good. 2 old friends, and are supporting him, have committed to support him each and every year he's there. Well, so really feel good stuff.
And if you're around Kentucky, go pay the old Silver Charm a visit. Just good stuff with him. And California Chrome, we talk about, I guess this headline segment is devoted to Kentucky Derby and Preakness winners. California Chrome, maybe not a complete surprise, but he's coming back as a 4-year-old. We kind of would have hedged our bets and said the connections will run him in 2015. And the San Antonio on February 7th looks like the first major target.
Yeah, it seems to be a stepping stone for the Santa Anita handicap, which trainer Art Sherman is more leaning towards, though he did note that some of the owners, or the 2 owners, Steve Coburn and company, were looking at the $10 million Dubai World Cup, but Art says he'd rather keep his boy at home.
Yeah, let's keep him in the States. Let's get him to Saratoga and Belmont Park next spring and summer, but good stuff with California Chrome, and it was cool with him trying the turf last Saturday and getting it done out at Del Mar. So we get to the action on this day number 3, if you will, day number 3 of many on the inner track. Travis Stone with the call. It's Friday's 3rd, and it's the feature, a $65,000 New York bred allowance, optional claimer for fillies and mares.
Nonetheless, is off last and is now racing up on the far outside as they head for the first turn, where Carry Me Away angles over to take the field into that first turn. Miss DePoint comes out in second. Miss Narcissist on the far outside is third. Dreaming of Kara settles in toward the rail fourth, and Lady Grace Note is in between horses at the back in fifth. So they head for the backstretch run, where Carry Me Away's opened up to lead by 2.5 lengths with 6 furlongs to go. and Miss DuPoint is stalking the pace in second. Miss Narcissist on the outside has moved up to be third. Dreaming of Kara's pushed on just a bit toward the inside in fourth, and Lady Grace Note is now back in fifth at about 5 lengths behind pace-setting Carry Me Away, whose first quarter was 24 3/5 seconds as the field heads for the half-mile pole. Carry Me Away has opened up a bit more as they head for the far turn now. Miss DuPoint is now second, Miss Narcissist in third, Dreaming of Kara fourth, and Lady Grace Note fifth. Positions unchanged so far. Onto the far turn they go, the half in 49 3/5 seconds, inside of 3 furlongs to go. Carry Me Away is in front. Miss DuPoint is getting closer, second at outside. Miss Narcissist wide trip continues. Lady Grace Note has caught up with leaders. 2.5 lengths to make up as they hit the top of the stretch. Carry Me Away is off the turn in front. Miss DuPoint's going to make her earn it on the outside. These two head for the final furlong together. Lady Grace Note is back in third. Here's the 8th pole. Carry Me Away down inside with a narrow lead. Miss DuPoint continues to fight on. These two locked in battle. 16th out. Carry Me Away's digging in. Miss DuPoint can't get by. Carry Me Away, coast to coast on the front end. Over Miss DuPoint in second. Lady Grace Note was third. Miss Narcissist was fourth.
Very solid. Carry Me Away. Late in her 4-year-old season, she has been better than ever since Saratoga.
Exactly. She turned her life around after the Saratoga Dew, or I should say in that race. She is now 3 for 4 of her last couple efforts, and a really good return as well from 5-month-off Miss DuPoint, who gave her a run for her money, just couldn't get by, but still I thought it was a really promising effort for a filly who does like it here at Aqueduct.
She loves the inner track. She got good last winter for John Toscano and carried that good form through the end of Aqueduct Spring. Started to go the wrong way, it seemed, as the months started to get a little warmer, and her connections did right by just laying her up. They bring her back fresh. A very stubborn effort, but Carry Me Away, the informed class, if you will, in today's featured third race. Erod Ortiz Jr. up for Mitch Friedman. And let's give Mitch and owner breeder Richard Greeley some credit, because Dreaming of Kara and Carry Me Away, who so often are the tag team coupled entry, I mean, they bagged over $600,000 combined.
I know, it's pretty cool. It was actually the 7th time that they ran as an entry together, which is also neat to watch, and it looks as though the younger of that duo is kind of surpassing her older stablemate in here. But Mitch has done excellent work with these filly and mare, just bringing them along and keeping them at a nice level that they're competitive
And you get those rivalries with these statebreds over the inner track. Round number 1 of many to come, with about 1,000 days left on the inner. Belmont Park way off in the future. Race 5 is not, and it's coming up next. Travis Stone with the call. It's Friday's 5th, second leg of the Pick 6.
Very slow start for Pura Vida Zen, 5 lengths behind the rest. Not a slow start for Your Move, who races out after that lead, opens up to lead by 2. On the outside, Persnickety comes on for second. La Bella Valeria is between those two running in third as Your Move is wrangled back, and those two now come up to challenge. So it is Your Move onto the far turn. Persnickety now second by 2. La Bella Valeria angles out of there and moves to the outside for third, 2.5 lengths behind. 3 lengths from there to Go Olivia Go, who's fourth and toward the inside. Violet Hour is running in fifth by 2. Malibu Queen and Pura Vida Zen at the back. Round the far turn, 22 4. Was the first quarter heading for the top of the stretch. Your Move, Persnickety, and La Bella Valeria 3 wide on the outside, coming on with a swooping move to take charge the top of the stretch. La Bella Valeria's in front, heading for the 8th pole. Your Move, Persnickety from the back of the pack. Violet Hour trying to get going late. Malibu Queen on the outside, and Go Olivia Go, and farther out is Pura Vida Zen, but with a 16th out, La Bella Valeria's got a 3-length lead as they come for the line. La Bella Valeria, 2.5 lengths as Violet Hour carved away at that margin for second. There's 4 horses in the photo for third. Your Move there to Go Olivia.
Favorites won the first 5 races today. The pick 5 paid a little over $100. In fact, $106.50 for a deuce. And La Bella Valeria in career form.
Yeah, if you played the pick 5, well, the probability of you hitting it was pretty high there with all these favorites coming in. Were you one of the ones who hit the pick 5?
You know I'm a chalk-eating weasel.
Yeah.
I took it down for $1 too. You know, I got half of $106.50 for a $30 play. But anyway, this filly by, or I should say mare by Stonesider, a 5-year-old, soon to be 6. She's very solid. And you know, you talk about we talked about the job Mitch Friedman has done with that entry that competed back in race 3. How about Chris Englehart claiming this filly 2 days after last Christmas, December 27th of 2013, laid her up for 8 months. has brought her back, and she's as good as ever.
Exactly. She has done nothing wrong. She's never been worse than second for Chris. And he does really well kind of claiming these horses that don't look great on paper, maybe from lower profile connections, and really moving them up. And that's kind of really his key and his claim to fame.
And that was Jose Ortiz filling in for Javier Castellano, who took off his mounts on this Friday card at the Big A. We're not taking off. We're taking a little rest. We've got a lot more racing action coming your way, the second segment, and a look back at a chalky pick 5 coming your way on MSG+.
Hi, I'm Nassau County Executive Ed Mangano, and I'm joined here by Major Chuck Kilbride from the Toys for Tots program. We love our U.S. Marines, and we thank them for hosting the Toys for Tots program. And we're asking you, if you have the wherewithal, please donate a new unwrapped toy to bring joy to every girl and boy that might not otherwise enjoy a wonderful holiday.
So come on out on December 6th and December 7th to Aqueduct Racetrack. Bring the family, and remember, a good bet and a safe bet is a new unwrapped toy. Let's put a smile on a child's face this year.
It's dark, and it wouldn't be a December here at Aqueduct without the Toys for Tots program. The United States Marine Corps. It's always good to catch up with Major Chuck Kilbride. I'll tell you, man, I cannot remember a December without the Major on our Aqueduct Racing feed, but all joking aside, it's the season to give, do the right thing.
Exactly. For families who can't afford to give their children a Christmas present, I think back to when I was a child, and I always get those butterflies about Christmas. It's such a great time of year. So it's really important to be able to support people who can't give that to their kids in a great cause.
We're very unlucky. A new unwrapped toy and/or cash over the next couple of days. Join us this weekend at the Big A as we get back to Travis Stone. The call of Friday's 6th race started a late pick 4. Let's do it from the gate.
In the gate. And they're off. Freudex breaks out on top. Shinnecock Bay with a sharp start as well, and Shinnecock Bay through toward the inside to take the lead. Freudex running in second. Toddy Royer toward the inside is out in third. Ready Heart and Souls away fourth on the far outside. Man of Fire in a break of 4. Back to Angel Heart, who's at the back early on. Down the backstretch, Shinnecock Bay fleet-footed early. The 1-length leader to Freudex running in second. Those two onto the far turn together. Ready Heart and Soul has moved up into third on the outside. Toddy Royer's fourth toward the rail. Man of Fire asked to pick it up just a bit back in fifth, 4 lengths to make up, and a big break back. Angel Heart has never been involved. 24 was the first quarter. They round the far turn. Shinnecock Bay, Freudex, and a 3-wide Ready Heart and Soul. These 3 come by the quarter pole together. Toddy Royer's in behind with Man of Fire off the turn. Freudex nose in front. Ready Heart and Soul on the outside is now taken charge. Ready Heart and Soul's in front. Freudex and Shinnecock Bay in a battle for second and third. Farther back is Toddy Royer and Man of Fire 16th out, and Ready Heart and Soul finishing full of run. Opening up late's going to win by 3 on the line. Shinnecock Bay was second, Toddy Royer was third, and Freudex checks in fourth.
When we put up the prices after this ISO, up here come the prices. Look at these show numbers. There was some bridge jumping on Freudex, who's battling between, and he completely shut down in the last furlong.
Yeah, Tom Navatrani runs 1-2 in here. Love is Heart and Soul, or excuse me, Ready Heart and Soul. There's a horse named that running around here as well.
There is.
But ran well, fresh before. They gave him a 2-month break, brought him back, and he really dominated this field as Freudex faded badly to 4th. Even got ran down by long shot, 50-1 plus, Toddy Royer.
Toddy Royer, who paid over $50 to a show, and Erod Ortiz Jr. subbing for Javier Castellano on the winner, was owned by Live Oak Plantation, and a gelding by Reddy's Image, but an all Abertrani exacta in race number 6. As we get to race number 9, we ended the day a dark finale here. This was like the midnight 9th race on the Friday card. Travis Stone with the call, group of New York bred 2-year-old maidens.
H-Man stumbled at the start. Angel Cruz is up and on his feet. The rest of the field heading for the clubhouse turn where Buddy the Elf takes the field there. Buddy the Elf in front. To the outside is Jackson and Leonard running in second with come around between those two and third by 2. Persuasive Devils fourth on the outside. Early on, Mr. Harlan settles in fifth and is now tugging up into fourth while going wide. Persuasive Devil is back about 3 lengths off the lead. Then it's Beyond the Green. Touch of Paradise and Swivel is at the back of that leading group, and once again, riderless H-Man. 24-1 was the quarter, heading down the backstretch run. Buddy the Elf's in front. Buddy the Elf midway down the backstretch. Mr. Harlan far outside. Jackson and Leonard smack dab between those two. 4 lengths back to Persuasive Devil on the outside of Come Around. They're together 4th and 5th. Touch of Paradise punching through toward the inside 6th. Beyond the Green is also advancing, and so too is Swivel, but Swivel's going to get stuck 5 wide onto that far turn run after a half and 49 into 5th second. So Buddy the Elf trying to go all the way up top, rounds the far turn, 3/4 clear. Mr. Harlan running in second. From the back of the pack, Persuasive Devil is winding up, so too is Swivel. Beyond the Green is right there in the thick of things, while Touch of Paradise is sneaking through toward the inside. There's a 1/4 mile to go. It's anyone's race as they come off the turn. Buddy the Elf cuts the corner. Right there, Mr. Harlan fighting on. Far outside, Persuasive Devil trying to get going. Beyond the Green, bumping along with Swivel. Farther back, Touch of Paradise down to the final 16th. Persuasive Devil has taken over. Comes away with a 3-length lead for the final 16th. Persuasive Devil in front, Beyond the Green and Swivel. They're both finishing strong. Persuasive Devil will hold on to win. 1.5 lengths Beyond the Green, Swivel, and Mr. Harlan.
Consistent, experienced, Persuasive Devil who had tangled with some pretty good New York-bred maidens while he graduates in career start number 7.
Exactly, and that's a lot for a 2-year-old. But it's also, you know, I say it's a lot, but not when you look back 30, 40, 50 years ago. Horses were running a lot as 2-year-olds then. And Persuasive Devil ran a fast race last time. He was progressively getting better. I found it strange, though, that he didn't go off the favorite. The second-time starter, Swivel, was 2-1.
Yeah, they love Swivel, who didn't run well. Travis had noted entering the far turn, Swivel was hung out there to drive pretty wide, but he never really had any serious run, and they were a little lukewarm with Buddy the Elf, and you had noted in your pre-race prattle down in the paddock, you felt he was more of a sprinter regarding physical appearance.
Yeah, I mean, he looks superb. If it was a 6 furlong race, it'd been
unbeatable.
Like, exactly.
Just
Buddy the Elf, take the money to the
Mm-hmm.
bank. But yeah, he's so short-coupled, and I didn't think his pedigree really shown for a routing type horse. So hopefully maybe we'll see him back in sprints here to come, because there'll be a lot of New York bred maiden racing, that's for sure.
Indeed, there will be. Jose Ortiz, Joe Orsino teaming up in the last for Leonard Green, and a horse that had tangled with some pretty good competition, Saratoga Heater, Australenka, and that's St. Joseph, who killed it. Crushed this horse last time out. He looks like a pretty good one for Chad
I think
Brown.
he's pretty nice. He's really, really good looking, very athletic, and I like the way he ran last time. I think he's a horse that's just going to move forward and forward. Hey, it might be another Zevo for Chad.
Could be. I'm sure they would be happy with that dilemma, having 2 Zevos in the barn. But St. Joseph, a horse going places, as are we, as we send it back to Travis Stowe with the calls of a bunch of races here on the Friday card.
Once again comes a bit wide off the corner. Every dog has his day toward the inside. Papa Tom is full out. Chris and Lori's posse is gaining ground toward the inside on Gaining Ground, who's got a 2-length lead and 1 furlong left. Gaining Ground full out now. Chris and Lori's posse, Papa Tom, born in Brooklyn on the outside, is 4th. Down to the final 50 yards. Gaining Ground is still in front. Chris and Lori's posse, born in Brooklyn, Gaining Ground got there. A 1-length winner on the line, tight first to turn. Bella Forever is still in front, but Time for Harlan continues to come on and has now come on to take the lead as they head for the 8th pole. Time for Harlan, opening up now on Bella Forever. She wrecks the place toward the inside up into 3rd. East Coast Express is back in 4th, but with a 16th left. Time for Harlan is pulling away as they come down to the line. Time for Harlan's going to win by 5 in the end. Bella Forever holds second. She wrecks the place. East Coast Express are too many pockets. Inherited the lead from Jackie Black, who's down inside second. Then it's Golden Starlet, followed by Chris Does Persona, culminating, continuing to close, but time is running out. Into the final 16th, Saluta's got a 2.5-length lead. Golden Starlet has moved into second. They're racing for the finish. Saluta's in front. Golden Starlet giving chase to Saluta. Length and a half on the line. Golden Starlet was second. Culminating was third. Farther back, either channel or wide. Precious Franca 5 wide. Rosie My Way 6 wide. Top of the lane. Our Girl She Gone is still in front. 3/16 out. Darling Bridezilla full out, but is still second. Midnight and Positano closing, and In a Flash is closing too. 16th out. Our Girl She Gone still with a 2-length lead. In a Flash continuing to carve away at that margin. Here comes In a Flash on the far outside. Up in time. In a Flash the winner. Our Girl She Gone second. Midnight and Positano and Precious Franca.
She's cheap, but 2 in a row for the gray In a Flash, who's going good right now for Neil Teresiano. Andre Warrior, the journeyman, was up in time, 5-2, lukewarm favorite in today's 7th race on a card. Ultimately, we had 6 winning favorites out of 9 races as we throw it and talk about a stallion who's going places. Drum roll, it's now time for the Frost Giant New York bred standout on day number 3 of the inner track. We don't have to go back too far. Persuasive Devil, who was good in race 9.
The Devil in the Dark, a son of closing argument here. Out of a 3 Wonders mare for Joe Orsino and Leonard Green, the winning connections, as well as Jose Ortiz aboard. And closing argument does have a couple New York breds, but this guy has a lot of New York breds.
He does, and they turf, they dirt, they go long, they go short, they do it all, as does Eric Bishop. Feel free to shoot him an email at eric@sunrisestallions.com. The phone number is up there, and a good-looking son of Giants Causeway, upset winner of the Suburban at Belmont Park in 2008 with none other than Rudy Rodriguez and the Irons.
Yeah, for Rick Dutro as well. And I like a lot of these, Freud was a full brother to Giants Causeway. We have Noble Causeway, sons of, of Giants Causeway. So that Giants Causeway bloodline is really working its way into the New York bred program.
Well, he's clearly a sire of sires as well, and the man, but you can breed the Frost Giant for a lot less than it would cost you to breed to Giants Causeway. As we move on to the rider standings, again, this meet will begin to sort itself out. A young-looking Colony for the most part, and I say young Colony, the kid who's only 19 years old, is your leading rider with 6 wins.
He's pulled ahead in the last couple days. It was all about Cornelio for a long time, as well as Arad Ortiz, and they're both tied at 4 right now, but Manny running very well over the inner track.
Wheeling and dealing in the claim box. Let's check it out. There's been a bevy of claiming activity here at the Big A, and well, today no exception. Saluda, 2-way shake. In fact, Abby Hatsa picking that one up for drawing away.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Abby down at Gulfstream running a horse in the Claiming Crown. Forgot to look up who exactly she's running, but keep your eye out for Abby down there at Gulfstream. And then a 3-way shake in race number 7, Midnight and Positano, going for Gary Gullo, who's been very active in the claim box recently.
Indeed he has, and Danny Gargan picking up the razor sharp In a Flash off Neil Teresiano as we take a look. Just a gorgeous sight here. The Big A still going strong over a half a century, and we are coming back with the Saturday preview. A wet day at Belmont Park, a preview of tomorrow's 6th race at the Big A, and Groupthink, who had no excuse once again as a big favorite.
I mean, when you look up in the handicapping dictionary, you look at Money Burner, and there's a picture of Groupthink. He is the utmost money burner, getting beat by Jackie Falk on a 24-to-1 shot, and I thought he was a cinch last time in the slop. He loves it. Maybe he'll get it tomorrow, but he's not getting my money.
Imposing figure inside, main track, yellow and black. He's on the lead. He's stepping up off a victory for David Jacobson.
I do like this horse, don't get me wrong, but there's other speed in here. He's a bit unproven. Yes, he has that kind of upside about him, but I don't know what he beat either that day, Jay. It looked like a pretty weak field going in, and it still does.
Yeah, no, lightly raced, and that's a positive and good connections, but I am in wholehearted agreement regarding the field quality. Curious Cal's dangerous. Charlton Baker on a nice run. Manny Franco rides. Do you like Curious Cal from the outside?
That was the operative word. From the outside, he has a long road to hoe, especially to get to the lead, because he feels like a horse who does do his best running when he is forwardly placed. Granted, he got it breaking out the 9-hole that day at Saratoga, but he's going to have to take another step forward and really overcome that 12 hole.
Big field, 12 horses. I know they had that Strangles outbreak up at Finger Lakes,
right,
and a number of horses that have recent Finger Lakes form and/or Finger Lakes breezes are entered in Saturday's 6. Make sure you get the scratches and changes. They're normally posted on NYRA.com around 11 a.m., 10:45, and Johnny I will be up with the first set of scratches and changes at 11:30. We hope there's no defections out of our featured 8th race, which will anchor Saturday's $200,000 late pick 4. It is the Garland of Roses. It is the traditional opening stake on the inner track, and we've got a solid field headlined by the quick returning Blewitt.
Yeah, and she's done this before and has been successful off of a quick break for Jimmy Islin. And I thought this was actually a very good effort, going 2 back in the Iroquois behind the very, very speedy La Verdad. And, I mean, when you looked at this race coming off of the quarter pole, she was almost 15 lengths out of it and only ended up getting beat a length and a quarter. So I think she's very dangerous tomorrow.
Let's move on to Winning Image. She has 2 races on the inner track under her belt, the last of which was against Nicole H. back in early winter 2012.
This race is so old that horse you just saw fading off the screen, the big chestnut with the white face, is my dad's horse, and she has a foal on the ground.
That's amazing. No, that was that 2-punch mare, right?
Yes, Bold Affair.
Right,
but Winning Image, look how game she is there. She just keeps knocking out the wins. She's so speedy. Tony Black gets the call here once again.
What a finish. This was the first Monday card upstate at Saratoga, July 21st, the ending stake of weekend number 1, and what a finish with 4 of them stacked across the track. And this is a good field, but she's getting some class relief.
Yeah, she is, especially against the Millionaires, who ran 2-3 in there, and then Better Lucky, who ran extremely gamely in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. So Bridgehampton's faced some very nice horses. We'll see what kind of trip she pulls, because she does like to be on the lead, I think.
She is coupled in the wagering with Janata, forming a nice potential 1-2 punch for trainer Mike Hushin. As we move on to your spot plays for tomorrow afternoon, obviously the turf season's done. We're on the inner track. Bit of rain in the forecast. What's the story? Who do you like tomorrow?
Well, I'm hoping, Jay, that the rain does hold off a little bit. As I take a look at race number 1, it is a maiden special weight for the 2-year-old fillies, going the 1.116 distance in here. A daughter of Bellamy Road, Kaylee's Road, will go out for Mark Henning. She's a filly that I immediately thought would want more ground based upon that pedigree and the way she appeared in the paddock. So I'm hoping that she may have struggled a bit over the muddy going and that we don't have that tomorrow, but I think the distance is really going to be her friend.
They've got to get around Midnight Citra, I should say, who's 3-5 and a big favorite from the inside post for trainer Bill Mott. You like anything else later in the card?
Yeah, I do. I'm big on the maiden races going forward. Just one race number 2. It's a New York bred maiden special weight for the 2-year-old fillies, and a bit of a price in there. That's number 3, Who Dat Cat, for trainer Joe Orsino. This filly took a lot of money in a big field several weeks ago here at Aqueduct, and I love the way she looked. Of the first-time stars, I think there's about 4 in that field. I liked her the best, and she kind of made a mild middle move. I'm not trying to make too many excuses for her, but I think she should run better than that first race suggests.
Well, Joe Orsino had a winner in today's last with Persuasive Devil, our Frost Giant standout of the afternoon. And you like the Super Savers real fast, because she's a filly by Super Saver.
I do. They're really nicely put together, and they're pretty precocious, as we've learned in his first season with 2-year-olds.
All right, we're out of time. Maggie and I thank you for joining us here on this dark edition of Aqueduct Insider. Again, Saturday's card, the Garland of Roses, first race post, 12:20.